Welcome to a broadcast of the recent Lorain County Commissioners' General Meeting. Unless otherwise announced, meetings are held Wednesday morning at 9:30 at the Administration Building, 226 Middle Avenue, 4th floor, downtown Elyria. These are public meetings and you are invited to attend. Agendas are posted prior to the meeting at www.loraincounty.us. Click on Departments to see the Commissioners page, then click on View Agenda.
All right. Good morning. Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the August 30th meeting of the Lorain County Board of Commissioners. Our thought for today is Proverbs 22, verses 10 through 12. Throw out the mocker and the fighting goes too. Quarrels and insults will disappear. Whoever loves a pure heart and gracious speech will have the king as a friend. The Lord preserves those with knowledge, but he ruins the plans of the treacherous. And you have the dog, Commissioner Kalo? You have a dog, too.
Hey, come here. Where's she sit? Come on. Come on. Come on. Come here. Come on. Come on.
Yeah, shedding. Nervous shedding. Whoa, she's pretty strong.
Girl. Come here. Look at her. Come here. Come here. How you doing? Hello. How you doing? Our featured dog this week is a female pit. Absolutely great attitude. And congratulations to our dog kennel. Our National Dog Day went off great. I heard all kinds of great compliments out of it. It was nice to see the public involved. But she's available for adoption today? Yes. Wonderful. So stop by, and if she's not quite your type, I'm sure we have plenty more.
Madam Clerk?
Under Resolutions Number 1, Investments.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kalo.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Appropriations.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kalo.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Transfers.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kalo.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Advances and repayments.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kalo.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Requisitions.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kalo.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Travel.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kalo.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Bills.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kalo.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Under the Commissioners, authorize various personnel actions as indicated on the summary sheet for employees within jurisdiction of Lorain County Commissioners.
Mr. Cortez?
Thank you, Madam Commissioner. I do have some potential hires at Job and Family Services, Solid Waste, and some applications I'd like to discuss at 911, plus continuing ongoing labor negotiations at 911 and the bridge with the operating engineers and the steel workers that I'd like to discuss with the board, and potential purchase of real estate that I've been working on, all of those, and one legal matter. All of those topics are allowable under the Sunshine Act for executive session discussion, so I'd ask at the conclusion of our regular board meeting, we go into executive session and we discuss those matters that I've outlined. Thank you.
Thank you.
Authorize payment of $1,000 to Boyer and Kuhl Funeral Home for Funerals, Lorain, for indigent veteran Dean Edward Sutter in Lorain in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code 5901.25.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kalo.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Authorize payment of $1,000 to Boyer and Kuhl Funeral Home for Funerals, Lorain, for indigent veteran Thomas Lee Lehman in Elyria in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code 5901.25.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Receive and journalize the expedited 2 annexation petition of 36.15 acres of land in Eden Township to the city of Elyria. State Route 57 Chestnut Ridge LLC, Vic Cone, Managing Member, and City of Elyria Mayor Holly Brenda are petitioners, and the agent is Attorney Kevin J. Fisher and Dennis Navarre. A decision on the proposed annexation, if all conditions are met, to be placed on the agenda for Wednesday, September 27th at 9:45.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Create Fund 1001, Medicaid Local Sales Tax Transition Fund per state to deposit transition payments received from the state due to loss of sales tax revenue.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
That was just a discussion this morning we were having with our budget director in regards how we're going to handle that. Does anybody know, because the Senate's supposed to meet about vetoing Kasich's, overriding Kasich's veto in regards to the MCO, if it will affect those funds? There's not been people
Well,
in
see,
session, so it's
the problem, Commissioner, and we've all at one time or another have had some discussion on this. The federal government it's highly unlikely that they're going to allow
the waiver.
the waiver.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of this is nothing more than posturing at the State House.
Well, the CCO spent a lot of time, we got the House to override Kasich's veto.
Well,
for the
I
now
understand
it's in the
that
Senate.
there's a lot of good work trying to be done. I'm not insinuating that good work isn't being attempted here, but it's truly impossible to think that Ohio is going to be the only state that's going to be given the waiver to increase those fees.
Well, actually, it was only two other states who were under this, California and Michigan. They actually, what they did is they sales taxed everything in regards to Medicaid, and the current administration is against that because it would be considered a tax increase.
Right.
So they took just a waiver from the feds during the last federal administration to plug their hole of $600 million of shortfall, but left the counties and the transit systems holding the bag.
But they want to raise the fee structure on that above, what is it, 7%? The
Whatever
fee,
that-
what it is
yeah.
right now, and nobody has a fee structure that's higher than that
Right.
to close that gap. And I believe what I
Without
read.
expanding the base.
Right.
You can keep the cap lower if you expand the base.
Right. What I believe I read is that the federal government's pretty much told them it's a non-starter, and that they've already received an unofficial answer to that.
I haven't seen anything updated, and there's a White House meeting today with county commissioners across the state. About 40 of our peers went to it, and that was one of the issues that were brought up, but there was no response to it.
So the latest and greatest that I heard was that we're going to receive the assistance for the first year, but that there's going to be no continuation after
Right,
that.
it's $2.3 million over 2-year backfill.
Well, we're going to get it over the 2 years,
Right.
but it's for the loss for the 1 year.
Correct.
So after that, we're rowing the canoe by ourselves.
I didn't know if anything else popped up. I haven't seen anything in the last week or so. I just know the Senate moved their meetings to talk about an override.
And that's all because of the governor's promise to Grover Norquist.
Right, exactly.
He doesn't, apparently the governor doesn't work for the citizens of Ohio. He works for Grover Norquist. This was brought up in Finance Committee when I was down there, and, I had asked about him making a promise to Grover Norquist and whether because of the financial situation he would make any changes, and no, he plans to keep his promise to Grover Norquist, not make sure that he's responsibly serving the citizens of Ohio.
As he states that the state is going into a recession.
Exactly, exactly. So I think it's window dressing, just like the county administrator said. I really believe it's window dressing. The other crazy thing that's going on there is the controlling board is losing a lot of its authority, where they want to have a lot of budget matters now go through the legislature, which is going to create a lot of chaos. The reason for having a controlling board, which has representatives from the Senate and the House, obviously the majority having 2 members, each chamber having 1 if you're in the minority, is to make sure that the state can continue to pay its bills, and so that it doesn't get caught up in politics and legislative matters in the legislature, but to basically take away a lot of authority of the controlling board and pass that on to the legislature. Now a lot of these budgetary decisions are going to be even more political than they already are.
Right. Thank you.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Community Development, award contract to MJ Griffith Paving, Inc., Sheffield Village, in the amount of $98,097.54 for the Sheffield Lake Robert Street rehab. 4 bids received on August 15th, this being the most responsive, complying with specifications, and does contain contingencies for any unforeseen change orders. Notice to proceed will be issued on or before August 30th and complete on or before November 1st. Authorize administrator to notify the auditor to release retainage completion of the project. Will be paid from CDBG FY16. Will pay $95,600, and the remaining $2,497.54 will be paid by the City of Sheffield Lake.
We have Sheffield Village at the beginning of that and Sheffield Lake at the end of it. Is it?
Sheffield Village is
Oh,
from.
I'm sorry, you're right, okay, never mind.
Griffith Paving.
Yes, they're
in the
from
village.
Sheffield Village, okay, sorry about that.
That's okay. Ms. Kowski.
I didn't make a motion yet.
Oh, I'm
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Before we go to number 14, Mr. Cortez, did you have something you wanted to bring up from the floor before we go forward with number 14?
I do, Commissioner, and my apologies to the board. I was working with community development on this. This is, number 13 was sent out twice for proposals. The first time, I rejected the proposals and did not take them for consideration by the board because the work was submitted, the low-cost submitter was a family member of the person receiving benefit of the CHIP funds, and I didn't believe that that was appropriate for them to be doing the work. I sent it back to community development where they resent the work out. We once again received a bid from a family member to do the work for the person receiving assistance from the CHIP funds through another company owned by the family member, which came to our attention. We had some conversation with them, and they said, well, you sent us out the ability to quote the work. Well, we didn't know that they owned 3 different companies. We don't know that when we send out the blast. As you know, we try to get a wide spread on offering the work, especially to Lorain County companies. Tried to have some conversation, letting them know that we did not think it was appropriate that family members were receiving these assistance funds, and that they were also trying to quote the work, and felt that just even from a perception issue, never mind that it may have given them an undue advantage on the pricing, wasn't appropriate. It really wasn't a congenial ending of a conversation, so I feel it's in our best interest to adopt a firm policy with regard to this. We don't really have a firm policy. I could find some technicalities in the CHIP program that would preclude this from happening, but that just gets convoluted, so I'd rather just establish a policy. I have one here for your consideration that I'll pass down. I'd like you to take a look at. So I don't really have to deal with this again on a micro level. And then if you pass this policy, we're going to have this inserted into our CHIP application with a certification statement. I just think that this is something we should avoid.
So there's nothing in the law that prohibits this?
Well, there is some issues in the CHIP guidelines that would preclude family members from performing certain work. I don't think it's as clear as daylight, but I think that we should have our own policy.
The only thing you need to change really, just a typo. Now therefore be resolved where it gets down to work performed on their resident, that's just residence. 3rd paragraph, 2nd line at the end, it says to have work performed on their resident. It should be residence.
A residence, it should be, yes.
Yeah, so.
Okay.
And Jerry, legal counsel, you're comfortable with this? I just, I mean, policy really doesn't mean much if the law says you says you can't really do it.
Well, it doesn't say you
so
can't
it does
do
say
it.
you can't do it.
This is your program. This is your local authority on how you exercise these funds.
Looks good, doesn't it, Jerry?
Yeah, this is why
Is he still reading it?
No.
that's why the wheels of government turn slowly. Got to dot the i's and cross the
The
t's.
Ts.
All right, I will make a motion to approve the, did you want to read the
I'll
beginning of
just
it?
read the
Yeah.
matter restating and clarifying the county's conflict of interest policy in the operation of its housing programs.
Okay, so moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Award contract to J.A. Kilby Enterprises North Ridgeville in the amount of $9,317, which includes a contingency for any unforeseen change orders for Angela and Randall Swiney at 622 Dunny Avenue, Sheffield Lake, to receive grant assistance from the CHIP Program Year 16 home repair.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Sanitary engineer, approve and enter a lease to own contract with U.S. Bank for 2017 F-350 truck in the amount of $30,641.82 from Harrison Ford Wellington to be paid from the sanitary engineer account.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Under the sheriff, renew a contract with Universal K-9 North Ridgeville for K-9 training effective September 1st, 2017 through August 31st, 2020. There is 4 hours of training per week at a cost of $40 per hour and contains a 30-day cancellation clause.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
I see Andy back there. Did you have any comments on either of these two? Okay.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Enter in a contract with Universal K-9 North Ridgeville to provide a dual-purpose K-9 and training in the amount of $10,000 to be paid from the DTF account.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Approve and enter in a contract with OD Security North America, South Carolina, in the amount of $118,750 for the full body scanner system with a 5-year full parts, labor, and travel manufacturer's warranty. This will be paid from the $200,000 technology grant that was provided by IC Solutions Phone Commission Agreement. The grant was to be used to purchase a scanner and make necessary upgrades to the room the scanner will be housed in.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
I'm guessing you want to talk about this one, Andy.
Only-
Finally, we're getting a scanner that we need so desperately at our jail.
You're the negotiator, right?
Yes, the phone commission was allocated to the county in an upfront form of a technology grant for $200,000. We had researched various models of body scanners over the past 2.5, 3 years, engaged with 4 primary vendors to provide service throughout the state to many of our fellow counties. And the largest difference between the two was price. Performance of the two were very similar. The one normally retails for $212,000, can be obtained for as low as $186,000. However, that's with a 3-year full service agreement. The one that we are going to purchase here, the OD brand, is $118,750, carries 5 years full service. And we look to make steps to improve the safety and security within the jail.
Yep.
With
It'll be
that
a good
purchase.
deterrent, at least, right?
These devices have been shown to be beneficial in other county jails similar to us at detecting contraband, both metallic and non-metallic. And it's an additional measure, an additional step for security, and we're thankful to have it. Now, the additional funds that are there, of course, are going to be used to prepare the room, the location within the sally port where the machine will be held. It's a large device. It's 9 feet long and 6 feet wide and 8 feet tall, and there is no room within our actual jail secured perimeter for it to work efficiently near booking where the reception of the inmates arrive. So we have to refurbish a room. We need HVAC in there, we need a ceiling in there, we need lights in there. It's just a storage room. We're going to need intercoms and video, and so that's what the additional funds from the 200 will be used for.
Wonderful. Good job.
Yeah.
Great.
Commissioner Kokoski was pushing that for a long time with the body scanner, so.
And this is the unfortunate reality of we have people trying to sneak drugs into the jail.
Yes.
Always.
Yes, it
And
happens.
gum,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
All kinds of crazy things.
We've encountered people conveying items in their body cavities on as short as 3-day sentences where they were caught and detected subsequent to their arrival, not during their arrival because it was concealed in their cavity, body cavities. It's happened.
Wow.
We hear reports every day from throughout the state and throughout the nation where body scanners are finding them, but it's no guarantee. This is not, everyone needs to know, it's not a guarantee. It's an additional layer
Yeah,
to add safety and security.
great.
Thank
Good
you.
work on this.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, we
Nice
thank you
job.
for your help.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Mr. Cortez?
Just want to ask everybody to keep our family and friends, if we have any down in the Houston area, in our prayers. A lot of bad things happening down there. It's going to be a long slug out of the damage that's happened down there, and just a terrible, terrible thing. So I know relief efforts are underway, and they're going to need a lot of stuff down there. So we should open our hearts and, in some respects, open our wallets to
I was gonna
assist
say
people.
wallets especially.
So-
I did talk to Tom Kelly, who is our emergency management director, to see if there's anything that we as a county should be doing for the people down in Texas. And he said ever since 911 and Katrina, they have a coordinated effort whereby the state of Texas would notify Ohio if they need things, what they need. What they do need is money to help buy things for people that are down there, which will also help spur the economy that is going to be in a bit of distress because of this storm. So,
Well, thank you, Commissioner, and it's all my comments, and I yield to council. Thank you.
Mr. Ennis?
I just have one matter, pending litigation, that I would like to discuss with the commissioners in executive session.
Commissioners report.
as Commissioner Kalo mentioned, that we had our first Dog Appreciation Day over at the dog kennel. And we had great weather. A lot of people showed up. I unfortunately was not able to attend. I had planned on it, but got sidetracked down in Columbiana County. 6 dogs were adopted, and I'm hoping that this will be the first of like annual event, because I'd really like to showcase our volunteers and rescue groups who go above and beyond to get these dogs new homes. Monday I had my Goodwill Board meeting, and we just finished our annual audit, which went very well, and I'm looking forward to a new store opening up here in Lorain County, hopefully very shortly, so stay tuned for that. End of my report.
Busy week, a lot of events going on. I'd like to thank Representative Dan Ramos. At a meeting on Thursday night, he came in and to a group, it was Lorain City Democrat Party, but to a group overall discussing the state budget over the next biennium. A lot that we are already aware of, but filling in the citizenry on the issues that are before us and how things actually work. Dan did a great job. I mean, he's been a great rep for 7 years.
Yeah, he always worked on the budget committee, even before he became a state representative, so his knowledge is very, very deep.
Well, the education is what he spoke a lot about. You know, with all the
Yeah.
turmoil currently in the
Oh,
city
yeah.
of Lorain and the changeover
Right.
with the CEO and the transition,
Right.
he talked a lot about the issues facing education and the cuts moving forward, which, you know, we don't do a lot within the education. So it was a nice learning experience in hearing actually what's happening in regards to education. Because currently within his district, that's probably the hot button issue,
absolutely.
along with the opioid epidemic. Also had an opportunity on Sunday, longtime friend Joe Fisher, suffering from MS. They had a large fundraiser at Pogie's Catering on Jefferson Street in Amherst, and we all know Bob Pogorel, a great job he and his son do. It was just nice to see a lot of old friends. Saw my friend John Schrank there, who sits in the audience here today. It was a great turnout, wasn't it, John? All the old friends to support Joe? Yes. So it was nice to see all those people out there. Also on Tuesday, Adam Frederick, who's a Medina County Commissioner, currently president of NOACA that we serve on. He's also plant manager at Beckett Gas in North Ridgeville. He invited me. I did a tour yesterday afternoon in regards to what they've going out there and how they've grown. There's 700 employees in Lorain County with Beckett. They've done a great job, and acquired companies brought work back here from Mexico over the years. And they're expanding. It was just nice to take a walk through and see how they do things and the teamwork of everyone working together. So I'd like to thank Adam Frederick for that. They're actually up for award, heating, refrigeration, and air conditioning, the National Association, on how they work their internships and presentations to the schools. They're a big participator in our Manufacturing Month that the commissioners sponsor every October. and they bring classes in from anywhere, junior high, high school, and college, and show people how to enter and the benefit of entering manufacturing as a career versus not always getting a bachelor's degree. So, also, everyone, enjoy your Labor Day. Please be safe. I won't be in town. Apologies to the Labor Fest. I don't think I've missed it in the 20-some years it's been there. I will be out of town this weekend. I have a wedding to attend. But as always, I'm sure it'll be very successful. Thank you. End of my report.
Had the opportunity last week to attend Sheet Metal Workers Local 33 in Parma. They have an amazing training facility there that they walked us through, and had a chance to have an interesting conversation with a gentleman who spent some time in the Army and the Air Force, and coming out of the service, he wanted to learn a trade, and he's in the apprenticeship program, but an impressive facility, and it just reminds us all that we need more people in the trades, and this is a facility that is working out very well, and they were talking about their partnerships with the private sector between the sheet metal workers and members of the private sector, and training people for HVAC systems that are more energy efficient. Also had the opportunity to attend the first annual Labor Policy Luncheon, which was held at Lorain County Community College. That was a very successful event. It was good seeing a colleague and a friend of mine. Senator Kenny Yuko was the main speaker, reminding everybody about the legislation that is being dealt with in Columbus. Sadly, most of this, all of the anti-labor legislation, quite candidly, coming from the Republican side of the chamber. But Kenny Yuko, and being in the minority and deep in the minority in the House, with only 33 Democrats to 66 Republicans, pointing out the real uphill battle that they have trying to keep a lot of the attacks on labor and working families out of the laws of Ohio. John Ryan with Senator Brown spoke, also pointing out the facts of the attacks that are taking place on working families throughout the country. And Jack Kilroy, congratulations to him. He was the event chair. Our prayers go out to the families there in Texas experiencing the flooding from the hurricane and tropical storm Harvey. And I had the opportunity as a reporter to cover a couple hurricanes. Thank goodness when I did along the Carolina coast, it was low tide and didn't get into flooding situations. But Houston's just a little bit above sea level. New Orleans was definitely below sea level. It's so I think people hopefully have a better understanding of what the people in New Orleans went through, and now they're going through a similar experience in Houston, just an awful experience. But, whether it's in your state or not, these disasters happen, and we've got to be willing to help people and support people, and instead of finding ways of road blocking just because it's not in your state or your town. Also, the first responders, amazing, and all the volunteers. You keep hearing all these people on the radio and TV just grabbing their boats and going down there to help people. They can't get enough boats. Yeah. One of the reporters one day pointed out there were, I think, 4 or 5 government boats that were visible, and 4 times that were just private citizens with their boats trying to help people out. So it's always amazing. It just shows you the great country we live in, how people are willing to come to the aid and help other people. I did have the opportunity to attend the dog kennel on Saturday for the Day of the Dogs, the National Dog Day, and had a chance to speak with a lot of the volunteers. And boy, you talk about a passionate, dedicated, committed group. I mean, it's just amazing. Yeah, one mother told me, she said, my daughter loves her job, but she loves volunteering here more than she does anything else in her life. So, and it was just a great turnout. Weather is perfect. Had a lot of our folks working the grill and serving up the hot dogs and the food, and so it was a really well orchestrated event. Also had the opportunity to attend Sheffield Village's Art After Dark fundraiser, which helped to benefit the Brookside Band, a very good turnout for that, and bid on a number of items, but I'm not that big wheeler dealer deep pocket guy like Ted Kalo, so my bids weren't high enough to.
Actually,
to
won a
win
bottle of Crown Royal at Joe
really?
Fisher's fundraiser the other day.
Okay. So
It wasn't bad. We passed it around like the old days.
once again
In a
had
bottle? 3 straws in a bottle?
once again had the opportunity to experience the huge benefit we have in this county with our recycling center. With the passing of my father, my brother and I were going through cleaning out the garage and finding all kinds of things that we needed to take over the recycling center. It's amazing, folks. There is just no reason to try to dump anything down a drain or storm drain or whatever. Take it over to the recycling center. It's just amazing. You pull in, you got everything we had in the back of the truck. They just pulled it out, took it, and away we went. So it's just a great resource that we have here in the county. And then I'm going to make a correction. Last week, I think I reported that the Pops concert was the coming Saturday, but it's actually this Saturday. I, of course, found that out when I pulled up and was going to help set up chairs with Main Street Elyria, and nobody else was there. And I called and I said, "Where is everybody?" It's next Saturday, Matt. So I guess old age is settling in. But the Pops concert is this Saturday at 7 p.m. on the square, and it's hopefully the weather will cooperate and we'll have a good event.
Commissioner Center Retirement Proclamation to Judy Legaza, 23 years at JFS. Board correspondence.
I move the reading be waived.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Public comment.
Anybody wishing to address the board this morning? Seeing none, I move that we go into executive session as outlined by the administrator and assistant county prosecutor.
Second.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
This has been a broadcast of the recent Lorain County Commissioners' General Meeting. Unless otherwise announced, meetings are held Wednesday morning at 9:30 at the Administration Building, 226 Middle Avenue, 4th floor, downtown Elyria. These are public meetings, and you are invited to attend. Agendas are posted prior to the meeting at www.loraincounty.us. Click on Departments to see the Commissioners page, then click on View Agenda for a printable copy of the agenda.